Hello and welcome to day 18 of Lockdown Bootcamp. Hope we're all still surviving and coming to terms with the fact that we're going to be locked down for quite some more time. The only good thing is that you'll get to see more of me every single day. Today what I want to talk about is cooking, food combining and cooking methods, okay, and taking the best out of your food and talking a little bit about organic food where we can, okay. Everybody knows a good diet, boosts vitality, improves mental health, heart health, just general health, maintains body weight, increase energy, improves immunity, which is so important in this day and age, okay. And a poor diet leads to weight problems, obesity, the illnesses related to those issues like hypertension and diabetes and stuff like that, which are chronic illnesses. It can lead to depression or other mental health issues. So it's your choice. Again, it's your choice to eat healthy or not. Okay, avoid as much as possible processed foods, chemical laden foods, sugar, additives, colorants, all of those type of things. Fortified, kind of like claims that make kind of like non-fattening sweeteners and stuff like that. They really are so poor and such poor choices for us as a species, humans, energetic, kind of like holistic beings, depending on how or way you want to call ourselves. So please, kind of like when it comes to organic, no one's going to doubt that organic is very expensive, for sure. So when it comes to buying organic and you have to kind of like make choices, my recommendation for you is that the organic food that you buy comes from under the ground, the potatoes, the beets, the carrots, okay? Because if we are choosing, then have to choose kind of like half a veg organic and half a veg not organic. If we buy non-organic from above ground, at least we have the chance to wash them, wash the chemicals off, wash the pesticides off in a salt solution or in a vinegar solution. Where if we're buying our food from potatoes and carrots and the beets, things like that, from parsnips, whatever, from under the ground, okay, it's leaching in to the food that we're eating. All those nasty pesticides and chemicals that are in what people are spraying on the ground these days. Okay, because yes, you can say, well, we can peel them, but the truth of the matter is most of the nutrients in the veg that grows underground is in the peel. So we're trying to get as much of that peel in because we're trying to get as much nutrients into us as possible. So my suggestion, but please guys, make your own choices, okay? Do your own research, take responsibility for your life, is to buy organic from underground and non-organic from above ground. Ideally, we want to buy organic across the board, but it's not always an option. One, it's not always available, and two, it's just not always affordable. I remember recently I went to buy organic chicken, organic spinach, small bag, 80 grams. It was 60 rand, if I remember correctly. Like, it's going to cook down to this. So it's kind of like, it just wasn't worth it. I couldn't afford to eat spinach at that kind of like prices. But again, do your own research and make your own choices on that, okay? So now you have the idea. We spoke yesterday about the energy of food. I hope you like some of those pictures that we posted up in the Facebook group. Let's talk a little bit about cooking, okay, and the cooking methods. Now, obviously, ideally, if you're following where I'm going with this, eating your food as raw as possible is the first option, is the number one option. Kind of people are screaming, kind of like, oh, well, what about potatoes? You can't eat potatoes raw. No, you can't eat potatoes raw. That's very correct. There'll actually be, there's reports of this case out there where it can actually poison you. Well, it certainly cause stomach cramps. But technically speaking, potato isn't a vegetable anyway. It's a tuber. So get your fruit and veg. Like, well, first of all, you shouldn't be cooking fruit full stop. An apple pie here and there is one thing, but you shouldn't be cooking fruit full stop. So get your veg as raw as possible. You can eat all your vegetables raw, okay? After that, the best methods are probably steaming or stir frying, followed by boiling. Remember, if you're boiling things, you don't have to put a 18-liter pot of water on to bring it to the boil, because by the time the water itself comes to the boil, all the nutrients will be lost. Now, a tip from kitchens would be, if it grows underground, start it in cold water and bring it to the boil. If it grows above ground, put it in boiling water. Okay, so moving on from that, kind of like roasting, it's a very tasty thing. Now, obviously, we're talking fruit and veg, where, beef to an extent, and fish, absolutely, we can eat raw, but chicken and pork and certain other meats are not an option to eat raw, full stop, okay? So then becomes kind of like, how do we cook them, okay? Steamed chicken is not very tasty. for sure. Stir-fried chicken is. Okay, roast chicken is delicious. Braai is, let's be honest, braai is, without that, the tastiest way to eat meat, but it's not necessarily the healthiest. So I'm not going to say too much about it. I am in South Africa, so we'll just leave your braais be, because it's also just a fantastic family social interaction around a braai. So that negates any negative benefits of maybe cooking on a braai. But if you're braaiing 7 days a week, I kind of recommend that you actually give that a miss, or you bring it down a little bit and you eat kind of like a little bit more healthier, if you wish. Okay, now the really types of food, kind of like you can shallow fry in olive oil, coconut oil if you want, but deep frying food, it's a once a month treat. Basically, really, honestly, that's all it is. And microwaves is a never a month treat. Okay, microwaves work by radiation, and enough said. Anybody who tells you the microwaves don't do damage to their food has obviously just read the producers or the manufacturer's brochure. The truth of the matter is, microwaves are an appalling way to cook food. They're an appalling thing to have in your house because they emit radiation, and they're generally at head height. So it's bombarding your head, and it is gas. You see people are staring at their foods heating up in microwaves on the telephone. And we wonder why we have mental health issues. Moving on from that, what I want to talk about is portion size. Okay, portion size is very, very important. Because our stomach is the size of our fist. Don't ever forget that. So the idea that we can sit down to a meal, a starter this size and a main course this size, is ludicrous, and think we're going to get any energy out of it. It's just not going to happen. Okay, keep your meal size small, the size of your fist, possibly maximum 2 fist size. Food is meant to give you energy, not sap you for energy. You're not meant to have a meal and then have to lie down for 2 hours afterwards while it digests, because all the blood, all the oxygen that's in the blood is now in your stomach trying to break down that monstrosity of a meal that you just ate. Keep your portion size small. Now, I just basically want to, kind of like move on from that. The alimentary tract, the digestive tract, it starts in your mouth and finishes with your bum. It has some accessory organs that lead on, so it's like a highway that has on ramps but only one off ramp. Okay, so kind of like what we eat and how we eat and when we eat will all react in the body at the same time. So first of all, what I want to talk about is certain foods at different times of digestion. Like steak will take a long time to digest. Watermelon is possibly the fastest digesting foods of all. So to eat watermelon with steak will result in major problems, because when we eat food, we put it in our mouth, we get digestion starts there. We have digestive enzymes released in our mouth to start breaking down food, but it also picks up the taste, which signals our brain to start releasing digestive enzymes in the stomach. Okay, so once we've chewed it and we kind of know what type of food it is, it enters our stomach, and it's the stomach acts as a holding bag where it turns the food over and over, breaking it down with digestive enzymes and neutralizing any pathogens in it with kind of like with stomach acid, and it breaks it down into a liquid called a chyme before it's released into the small intestine, where most 95% of nutrient absorption takes place. But however, the combination of foods become very, very important, because starchy foods, for example, require alkaline juices, which are initially released in the mouth, and proteins require digestive enzymes that work in a acidic environment, mainly released in the stomach. So if we eat starch and protein together, acid and the alkaline enzymes required to break both of them down actually neutralize each other. So we actually take very little nutrients out of them, because the foods aren't being broken down into the constituent parts for the absorption that takes place. So just be careful about how you eat. Okay, starch and protein not a good thing. Fruit and veg not a good thing, for the same reason that alkaline and acidic environment, digestive enzymes are released to work on different types of food. Okay, so ideally what you want to do is eat the same types of food at the same meal. That will bring optimum health. Okay, so carbs are carbs, proteins are proteins, and fats will be with carbs and proteins always. Okay, so kind of like around eating time, don't drink too much water at dinner time, okay, with your food, because it will dilute the digestive secretions. Have water before, and plenty. Obviously have lots of water, please. Okay, but kind of like just make sure that your meals are small, never more than 2 fistfuls. You can eat 4, 6, 8 times a day, depending on your size, your constitution, and your want. If you want to gain weight or lose weight, you become calorie deficient or calorie excessive. So remember, just try and start listening to yourself, understanding food, understanding the body. It really is it's not that difficult, honestly. It's not. So give it a go. And again, don't forget to follow us on Facebook, and don't forget to ask any questions either via Facebook or contact us directly. Okay, we'll talk to you tomorrow. Cheers, bye bye.